actually eating my food. I met this guy on Hinge, and by the way, the app has been deleted. He seemed really chill, very enthusiastic, smart. Like, he was checking off my boxes on paper. He said he wanted our first date to be something competitive and like an activity. So he initially recommended bowling, and I was like, well, no, not really. Typically, anyone who's suggesting bowling, they're really good at bowling. I'm not good at bowling. I actually suck at it. And I was like, our first date needs to be a different activity or something that we're both equally bad at. And so I recommended candle making, and he said he would look into it and send me some dates for next week. He said, I would still like to see you this weekend though. And I was like, okay, what do you want to do? He suggested that we just go to the Pratt Institute Sculpture Park. Now, you guys know me. Normally, I'm like, ew, a park. I assumed that he had something more going on that he wanted to include or incorporate into the park date, and I was just willing to give him that benefit of a doubt. So I agreed to meet him at the park. Not gonna lie, the park date was not that impressive. We were just walking around a college campus. We walked around, and then we eventually sat on a park bench and talked and got to know each other. And it was actually really good. Like, we were both vibing with the conversation. He asked to kiss me, and I was just like, no, you can't kiss me. This is not a date. He also made a comment at a separate time where he was like, I can tell that you're not easily impressed. And I was like, what have you done to impress me? We didn't even have flirty banter going on. Like, what have you done to deserve a kiss? Oh, I forgot to mention, earlier in our conversation getting to know each other, he just randomly said to me, he was like, what was your earliest trauma? I was like, what? I just met you. Why would I tell you that? Like, excuse me? That was a red flag for me, because why are we trying to jump ahead like a million? You don't know me to be asking me that question. Back to the kiss, I was like, if you want to get anywhere close to getting a kiss from me, then you need to plan a proper date. And so he planned a dinner date for the next day. Something else that I forgot to mention, he was literally high when I arrived. His eyes were red. So that was red flag number one. That grossed me out, not gonna lie. So our dinner reservation was set for Sunday, and we initially said noon, so like around brunch. But then he sent me the reservation and it was for 7 p.m. The idea was, okay, you plan a date and I'll plan like a fun activity for us to do afterwards. Which, like, I don't get why we have to do activities after a date. The date is the activity. I was okay with that when the date was originally planned for 12 o'clock. 7 o'clock is a different story on a Sunday night. Later on Saturday, after we've both left the park hangout, meet and greet, I'm going out with my friends, and I told him that. I was like, yeah, me and my friends are going out tonight. We're gonna bounce around a couple parties and just figure it out. So he was like, oh, my friends and I are gonna go to Little Sister tonight, and we have a table. You guys should come join us. And I was like, sure, I'll ask my friends and see if they're down to do that. And so we met them at Little Sister later that night, and it was cool. We were all having like a good time. People kept spilling drinks on me and my friends though. We had a really rowdy group in the section right next to us. There was one point of the night where my dress was completely soaked with alcohol. I was uncomfortable and I just wasn't really in the mood to just dance anymore. So I sat down on the couch, but I sat down on top of the couch. Like, my feet were like on the couch cushions and I was sitting on top of the couch. I was sticky, uncomfortable, and honestly ready to go home. So my date, he was on the other side of the couch. Like, he was behind me, and I had an opening right next to me on the couch, so he like climbs over the couch to try and sit next to me. And when he did that, oh my god, this is so embarrassing for him. When he did that, he missed his landing and then he fell back on his back. And it was just like, damn, that sucks for you. First of all, if you've ever been to Little Sister, you know that floor is sticky as hell and it's gross. Mere fact of like falling on the floor would make me want to die. I'm sorry. Unfortunately for him, that was also around the time that our Uber arrived. So me and my friends got out of there. We were all dying to go home by that point. So fast forward to the next day, it's time for our dinner date. We went to Ati in Williamsburg. It's Korean barbecue, and the time of our reservation was for 7 o'clock. He arrived 20 minutes late, and we were having like a chill conversation at first. I could tell that he was trying to be overconfident. I don't know how to explain it, but like if you've encountered a man in this mode, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. And then he just spent the rest of the date projecting onto me, like trying to get me to perform for him instead of actually trying to get to know me for who I am. I don't know, it just felt like he was trying to force this personality out of me, and it's like, you don't know me to expect these things of me. He had a version of me in his mind that he had created, and he wanted me to play up to that. Whenever he would ask me a question, he'd talk over my answers. So I doubt that he actually learned anything about me over the course of the entire weekend. He's the kind of guy that likes the idea of me, but he doesn't actually want to engage with my actual humanity. And that was the entire problem there. The restaurant that we were at was Korean barbecue. So after our waitress cut up the first round of beef and put it on our plates, I was lightly blowing on mine, and he made a comment. He was like, "Oh, it's not even that hot," referencing that we got it done medium. Like, I have PTSD from burning the roof of my mouth with Korean barbecue too many times. And so I jokingly said, "Oh, like, can you let me eat my food?" I said that not knowing that that was the turning point of our entire date. Suddenly he's texting through dinner, and the conversation and just the overall vibe at the table had such weird energy. I had this random like playful argument about calories. Well, I thought it was a jokey joke, but he was being weirdly defensive about it. I made a passing comment saying calories aren't real, and he was just talking to me like I was the stupidest fucking person on the planet. But the thing is, like, calories as we know and interact with them are not real. I'm not lying about that. Our understanding of calories is incorrect. But that's a separate conversation for a separate video. But yeah, the way he was talking to me in that moment, I was just like, ew, what is wrong with him? Like, why is he going so hard for calories right now? It felt like it was deeper than the calories, and I was right. Then we were talking about whether or not we wanted dessert. We both agreed that we were full, but down to look at the menu. And then our waitress comes back around and he goes, "Excuse me, can we get the check?" But the way he asked for the check was like in such an abrupt and rude way. 5 minutes ago, we both said that we were down to do dessert. Dessert came with our meal, and there was no way around it. Otherwise, it's just like a waste of money. So we ended up staying for dessert anyway. We didn't finish it though. We both didn't really like the dessert. He abruptly just said, my Uber's about to be here. So we went outside, waited for the Uber. The Uber came, and I was like, okay, bye, TTYL. He said, take care. And in my mind, I was like, I'm never speaking to this man again, because that was the strangest date I've ever been on. I've just never been so turned off by a person in my life. I feel like if I was ever in a relationship with somebody like him, I would be lonely and miserable. He doesn't really seem like he's capable of holding space for people outside of himself. I'm ready. Let me show you guys my full outfit. This isn't my usual style. It's very different from what I'm used to, but I like it. There's nothing crazy about it. It's not backless. It's literally just like, it's giving that Doja Cat moment from the Met Gala.